Most people watching this video are deficient in at least 3 of the vitamins on this list right now, without knowing it, not because they don't eat, because they don't eat these. Number 2 on this list is a food most people are actively avoiding. They've been told it's bad for them. The research says the opposite. Number 9, most of you have it in your kitchen right now. You just don't know it's carrying one of the highest vitamin K concentrations of any food on the planet. Number 6, a red vegetable in every grocery store in the country. It delivers more vitamin C than 2 oranges. Most people walk right past it. 15 foods, real foods. No powders, no subscriptions. Just the most vitamin-dense things you can put on a plate, with a preparation for each one. I'm Clara, 20 years as a registered nurse. Nothing here replaces your doctor. Stay through to number 13, less than $1 a serving. Tops the charts for folate. Let's go. Number 1, and I know, some of you just made a face. Stay with me. Liver. I grew up eating it once a month. My grandmother made it with onions and a little apple cider vinegar, and the whole house smelled like something ancient and good. Now, was it my grandmother who first showed me that trick with the vinegar soak, or her sister? Well, no matter. The point is, it works, and it works because she understood something instinctively that took nutritional science decades to confirm. Beef liver is, gram for gram, possibly the most nutrient-dense food on this entire list. A single 3.5-ounce serving, that's about 100 grams, delivers somewhere around 25 to 30 times the recommended daily intake of vitamin B12. That is not a typo. According to USDA Food Data Central, one serving provides over 2,000% of the daily value. 2,000. Now, B12 is the vitamin that keeps your nerve cells talking to each other. Think of it like the insulation around electrical wires. Without it, signals get crossed, and over time, the wires start to fray. Fatigue, brain fog, that strange tingling in the hands and feet that people often chalk up to getting older. B12 deficiency is on that list of suspects far more often than most people realize. But liver doesn't stop at B12. It's one of the most concentrated sources of preformed vitamin A, the ready-to-use kind that your body doesn't have to convert from anything. That matters because your immune system, your night vision, and the integrity of your skin all depend on it. Evidence from nutritional studies consistently places liver at the top of the natural food sources for this vitamin. Now, I have to say this clearly because as a nurse, I wouldn't feel right leaving it out. Liver's preformed vitamin A is so concentrated that a single serving exceeds the recommended daily upper limit. That's why I say once a week, not every day. And if you're pregnant, please speak with your doctor first. High doses of preformed vitamin A are not safe during pregnancy. This isn't a scare story. It's just the full picture. It also carries meaningful amounts of folate, copper, iron, and every B vitamin in the group. It is frankly remarkable. The Creator put a lot of work into that particular organ. And like most things the Creator designed, it works best when used with a little wisdom, not excess. Here's how I prepare it, and I promise you, if you've only had bad liver, you've only had poorly prepared liver. First, soak it. Put your liver slices in a bowl of milk or cold water with a splash of lemon juice. Leave it for 30 minutes to an hour. This pulls out some of the stronger compounds that people find bitter, and it genuinely changes the flavor. Softer, milder. Pat it dry after soaking. Slice it thin, no thicker than a 1/4 inch. Get a cast iron pan hot with butter. Real butter, y'all, not the fake stuff. Medium-high heat, 2 to 3 minutes per side. No more. Overcooked liver is what gave liver its bad reputation. It turns grainy and sharp. Cooked right, it stays tender. Serve it with onions if you like. A squeeze of lemon cuts through beautifully. Once a week, that's all. Kale. The morning fog was heavy today when I went out to cut some. The leaves were cold and a little damp, and they smell, I don't know how else to say this, they smell alive in a way that most things in a grocery store don't anymore. People make fun of kale. I understand that. It had a moment where it was everywhere. Kale chips, kale smoothies, kale on everything, and there was a backlash. But here's what the backlash missed. The nutritional data for this leaf is genuinely hard to argue with. 1 cup of raw kale, about 2.5 ounces, contains more than 100% of the daily value for vitamin K1. Now, vitamin K1 is the one that tells your blood when to clot and when to stop. Think of it as the body's internal traffic controller for bleeding. Without enough of it, small injuries become bigger problems. But kale also carries significant vitamin C. Studies suggest a single raw serving can supply over 80% of the daily requirement, along with vitamin A precursors, manganese, and calcium. The calcium in particular surprises people. It's not milk, but it's not nothing either. Simplest preparation I know. Massage it. I'm serious. Take your kale leaves off the tough stem, just tear them away, and put them in a bowl with a small drizzle of olive oil and a pinch of salt. Then massage the leaves with your hands for about 90 seconds. You'll feel them soften. What you're doing is breaking down the tough cell walls, which makes the nutrients more available and the texture far more pleasant to eat. After that, a squeeze of lemon, some toasted pumpkin seeds if you have them, maybe a little apple cider vinegar. It holds in the fridge for 2 days without going limp, unlike most dressed salads. Sardines, whole, bone-in olive oil from the can. I eat them on sourdough toast on Thursday mornings, and I've stopped apologizing for it, because sardines might be the most undervalued food on the entire grocery shelf. They're inexpensive, they're shelf-stable, and they are stacked with nutrients in a way that most expensive fish can't match. One 3.5-ounce serving of canned sardines provides roughly 20 to 25% of the daily requirement for vitamin D, which matters because there are very few foods that supply it naturally at all. A nutrient that a significant portion of the adult population in northern climates is deficient in, particularly in winter. Vitamin D doesn't just build bone. Studies suggest it plays a role in immune regulation, mood stability, and how the body manages its internal repair cycles. Think of it like the foreman at a construction site. When there's enough of him, the right work gets done in the right order. When he's absent, things start to get patched together wrong. But here's what people miss about sardines specifically. You eat the bones. Soft, completely edible, calcium-rich bones. That's what gives sardines a calcium content that's genuinely competitive with dairy. The creator built a complete little package there. The preparation couldn't be more simple, which is the point. Toast a slice of good sourdough. Drain your sardines lightly, not completely. You want some of that olive oil. And lay them on top. A squeeze of lemon. Some whole grain mustard if you like it. Sliced red onion is optional, but it's good. If you're new to sardines, start with the smallest, mildest ones you can find, packed in olive oil, not water. Give them 3 or 4 tries before you decide they're not for you. They grow on you. Sweet potatoes. Humble, affordable, grows in almost any garden, and carrying one of the most impressive vitamin A concentrations in any plant food you'll find. A medium sweet potato, baked skin and all, contains well over 100% of the daily value for vitamin A in the form of beta-carotene, which the body converts as needed. The as-needed part matters. Unlike preformed vitamin A from liver, which you need to be mindful about consuming in very high quantities, the plant version self-regulates. Your body converts only what it requires. Evidence from population studies consistently links higher beta-carotene intake with better outcomes in areas related to skin health, immune resilience, and eye health as we age. Baked is the easiest and arguably the best. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 200 degrees Celsius for my friends across the Atlantic. Scrub the potato well. You'll eat the skin, and it has fiber. Poke it a few times with a fork. Rub a little olive oil on the outside and a pinch of salt. Place it directly on the oven rack, 45 minutes to an hour depending on size. It's done when a fork slides through with no resistance. Split it open. Add a little real butter and a pinch of cinnamon. No sugar needed. The sweetness is already there. The creator put it there. Eggs. Whole eggs. Yolk included. I know the yolk had a bad decade or two. It didn't deserve it. The egg yolk is where almost all the nutrition lives. It contains choline, a nutrient that most people have never heard of, and most people are not getting enough of. Choline is what your liver uses to package and ship fats properly. Without enough of it, things get sluggish in there. Preliminary evidence also suggests it plays a role in cognitive function and memory consolidation, particularly as we age. 2 whole eggs also provide meaningful B12, vitamin D, vitamin A, selenium, and a complete set of amino acids. The protein in eggs is, by most nutritional measures, about as bioavailable as protein gets. Your body uses it efficiently. Think of it like well-cut firewood. It burns clean and hot. Soft-boiled is my preference. Bring a pot of water to a full boil. Lower your eggs gently with a spoon. I use a wooden spoon. I've had the same one for 12 years. And set a timer for exactly 6 minutes and 30 seconds. When the timer goes off, move them straight into cold water for a minute, then peel. The white should be fully set. The yolk should still be slightly jammy in the center. That is the sweet spot. Eat them with a pinch of good sea salt and nothing else, or slice them over whatever greens you happen to have. This one I mentioned in the hook, and I meant it, bell peppers, specifically the red ones. Most people think of vitamin C and reach for oranges. That's not wrong, but it's also not the whole picture. A single raw red bell pepper delivers somewhere around 150 to 170% the daily recommended vitamin C. That's well over what you'd get from an orange of similar size. And vitamin C is not just about colds, though the evidence there is real, if somewhat overstated in popular culture. More importantly, it's what your body uses to manufacture collagen, the structural scaffolding that holds your skin, joints, and connective tissue together. The red color matters too. Red bell peppers are just green peppers that have been left to fully ripen. And during that process, they develop lycopene and beta-carotene, compounds that studies associate with reduced internal inflammation over time. Eat them raw whenever possible. Heat degrades vitamin C, not entirely, but meaningfully. I cut mine into strips and eat them with hummus, with eggs, or just as they are while I'm working in the kitchen. If you're cooking them, roasting is the gentler option compared to boiling. Toss the strips in olive oil, lay them flat in a roasting pan, 400 degrees, 200 Celsius, for 20 minutes. They'll soften and sweeten without losing everything they started with. Sunflower seeds. I keep a jar of them on the kitchen counter because I forget to eat lunch more often than I should. And a small handful of these is a legitimate snack, not just a filler. A 1/4 cup of dry roasted sunflower seeds, that's about an ounce, provides roughly 50% of the daily requirement for vitamin E. That's a number that genuinely surprised me when I looked it up. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble antioxidant, which means it works inside the fatty parts of your cells, including cell membranes. Think of it as a rust preventer applied to the inside of a water pipe. It helps slow down the kind of internal cellular wear that accumulates quietly over decades. Sunflower seeds are also a solid source of B1, thiamine, magnesium, and selenium. Studies suggest magnesium is underconsumed in modern Western diets, and it's involved in more than 300 processes inside the body, everything from muscle relaxation to sleep quality. Buy them raw if you can. Dry roast them yourself at home. It only takes 8 minutes in a dry pan over medium heat, stirring constantly until they're golden. The difference in flavor between a freshly toasted seed and something that's been sitting in a bag for 6 months is remarkable. Salt them lightly when they come off the heat. Let them cool on a piece of parchment. Store in a glass jar. Wild-caught salmon. I'll be specific about the wild-caught part because the nutritional profiles between wild and farmed can differ more than most people realize. Studies consistently show wild salmon tends to carry higher levels of the omega-3 fatty acids EPA and DHA, as well as astaxanthin, the pigment responsible for that deep pink color. Now, omega-3s. I could spend an hour on omega-3s. The short version is this. Your brain is about 60% fat, and a significant portion of the fat it needs, particularly DHA, comes from your diet. Think of DHA as the insulation and wiring material for your brain's communication network. Evidence from decades of research associates adequate DHA intake with cognitive health, reduced inflammatory signaling, and cardiovascular support over the long term. A 3.5-ounce serving of wild salmon also provides a remarkable source of B12, vitamin D, and selenium. It is one of the few foods that addresses multiple common deficiencies in a single sitting. Pan-seared, skin down. It's the most reliable method and gives you the best texture. Pat your fillet dry. This step matters. Moisture is the enemy of a good sear. Cast iron pan or stainless steel, either works. Get it hot over medium-high heat with a thin layer of avocado oil or clarified butter. Season the fillet simply. Salt, black pepper, maybe a little garlic powder. Leave it skinned down for about 70% of the total cooking time. 4 minutes for a standard fillet, roughly an inch thick. Flip it for 1 or 2 minutes. It should still be slightly translucent in the very center when you take it off. It will finish cooking from the residual heat. Squeeze a half lemon over it. That's the whole recipe. Spinach. I grow it in early spring and late fall here. It doesn't like the heat much, which is fine because Oregon doesn't produce a lot of heat anyway. Raw spinach is a significant source of vitamin K1. 1 cup delivers well over 100% of the daily value. It also carries meaningful folate, which is the natural form of the vitamin more commonly known as folic acid in supplements. Folate is what your body uses to build and repair DNA. Every single cell division in your body requires folate to do its job correctly. One thing people sometimes wonder about with spinach, and it's a fair question, is the oxalate content. Raw spinach does contain oxalates, which can mildly reduce the absorption of some minerals, particularly iron and calcium, and which people with certain kidney conditions are sometimes told to moderate. Boiling spinach is the most effective way to reduce oxalates. The water pulls them out. A light sauté does less, so if you're eating large amounts of raw spinach daily, it's worth rotating in some cooked and discarding the boiling water. Wilted spinach takes about 90 seconds and transforms the volume completely. 2 big handfuls collapse into barely a side dish, so don't be alarmed. Hot pan, little butter or olive oil, 1 crushed garlic clove. Add the spinach and toss it for 60 to 90 seconds until just wilted. Season with salt, black pepper, and a squeeze of lemon. The acid helps your body access the iron more efficiently. That is not just folk wisdom. The science backs it. Broccoli, one of the most studied vegetables in the world, which is saying something given how much competition there is. A cup of raw broccoli provides over 100% of the daily vitamin C requirement and meaningful vitamin K. But broccoli has a compound worth noting separately, sulforaphane. It's produced when broccoli is chopped or chewed. The physical disruption of the plant cells causes 2 compounds inside to combine and form it. Sulforaphane has been the subject of significant research interest. Studies indicate it appears to activate a cellular pathway. Think of it like flipping on the body's own internal cleaning crew that helps clear out damaged cellular material and supports the liver's natural detoxification processes. The evidence here is compelling enough that major research institutions have dedicated ongoing trials to it. One critical preparation note: don't overcook it. Boiling broccoli for too long degrades both the vitamin C and the enzyme needed to produce sulforaphane. Steam it lightly or eat it raw. Chop it first, then let it sit for 5 minutes before cooking. This sounds odd, but it gives the enzyme reaction that forms sulforaphane time to complete before heat interferes with it. Steam over boiling water for 5 to 6 minutes until bright green and just tender, but still with a little resistance when you bite it. Don't go limp. Dress it while it's still warm. Olive oil, lemon, a pinch of red pepper flakes, and sea salt. That's the preparation I come back to every single week. Simple, and it's good. Blueberries. Wild blueberries specifically, if you can get them. They're smaller than the cultivated kind, but the evidence suggests that smallness is deceptive. The deep blue-purple color comes from a class of compounds called anthocyanins. These are pigments with documented antioxidant activity, and the wild varieties tend to carry higher concentrations of them than the larger farm berries. Studies examining cognitive aging have repeatedly flagged blueberry consumption as associated with better performance on memory and processing speed tests in older adults. The mechanism researchers point to involves reduced oxidative stress on brain cells, or in plain English, less internal rust accumulating in the parts of the brain responsible for sharp thinking. Blueberries also provide vitamin C, vitamin K, and manganese. They're not single nutrient foods. They're what I think of as quiet, faithful workers, not flashy, but steady, like the Creator's best design often is. No preparation needed, which is the best kind of preparation. Eat them fresh, eat them frozen. Frozen wild blueberries are available year-round, and nutritionally they're nearly identical to fresh. I add them to my oatmeal most mornings, or to plain full-fat yogurt. If I'm making something warm, I'll stir them in at the very end, off the heat, to preserve as much of the anthocyanin content as possible. Heat does degrade it, though not completely. Pumpkin seeds, pepitas, if you want the formal name. I keep a jar of them toasted every week because they're one of the densest sources of magnesium available from a whole food, and magnesium is one of the quiet essentials that most people don't think about until something starts to go wrong. An ounce of pumpkin seeds, about a small handful, provides roughly 40% of the daily magnesium requirement. Magnesium is involved in over 300 internal processes: muscle function, nerve signaling, sleep regulation, bone structure. Evidence indicates that suboptimal magnesium intake is common in adults over 50, often not deficient enough to flag on standard blood work, but low enough to make a difference in how you feel day to day. Pumpkin seeds also carry zinc, meaningful amounts actually, which is relevant for immune function and, as studies suggest, for the health of the prostate specifically, which is one reason traditional herbalists in many cultures specifically recommended them to older men. Evidence-based ethnopharmacology, not mythology. Toast them dry, same method as sunflower seeds. Dry pan, medium heat, 8 minutes, constant stirring. They'll puff slightly and start to make a light popping sound when they're done. Salt them immediately when they come off the heat. A pinch of smoked paprika is a lovely addition if you have it. Let them cool. Eat them by the handful. Scatter them on salads, or stir them into oatmeal. Lentils have been a staple food across the Middle East, South Asia, and the Mediterranean for thousands of years. The people who relied on them weren't nutritionists. They just knew from lived experience that lentils kept you going. The folate content in lentils is exceptional. A single cup of cooked lentils provides nearly 90% of the daily folate requirement. And folate, I mentioned this with spinach, is what every cell division in your body depends on to replicate DNA correctly. It's particularly important for anyone planning a pregnancy, but its relevance doesn't diminish with age. Your body is replacing millions of cells daily, and it needs the right raw materials to do that work faithfully. Lentils also carry iron, B1, B6, potassium, and they're one of the most affordable proteins available anywhere. A bag of dried lentils costs less than a cup of coffee and will feed a family 4 times over. Stewardship of resources. That matters to me. Red lentils are the fastest. They cook in about 20 minutes without soaking. Green and brown lentils are sturdier and hold their shape better for salads. They take about 35 to 40 minutes. Rinse them first, always. Bring 2½ cups of water or broth for every cup of dry lentils. Add a bay leaf, half a teaspoon of cumin, and a pinch of salt. Don't boil them hard. A gentle simmer is best. Keeps them from turning to mush. Taste at the 20-minute mark. When they're done, finish with a drizzle of olive oil and a squeeze of lemon. A blessing of a meal, and it costs almost nothing. Mango. I can't grow these in Oregon. Let me be clear about that. But I can buy them, and I do, because the vitamin C and vitamin A content in a ripe mango is genuinely worth a weekly spot in your kitchen. A cup of fresh mango delivers around 60% of the daily vitamin C requirement, along with beta-carotene that converts to vitamin A, folate, and B6. The riper, the better. The nutritional density increases as the fruit fully ripens, which is one reason those perfect, firm mangoes that travel well are sometimes less nutritious than the soft, fragrant, slightly drippy ones. Mango also contains a digestive enzyme, amylase, that helps break down carbohydrates. Preliminary evidence suggests that ripe mango consumption has beneficial effects on gut bacterial diversity. Your gut bacteria, as evidence increasingly shows, are not a footnote. They are a central part of how your immune system functions. The simplest way, the hedgehog cut, score the flesh in a crosshatch pattern, push the skin side out, and eat it directly. No utensils needed if you're in the garden. Frozen mango works beautifully for smoothies. It blends smooth and keeps the sweetness. If you're combining it with leafy greens in a blender, a small piece of mango will do more to make that smoothie palatable than any amount of sweetener. Last on the list, and not the least, almonds are the best whole food source of vitamin E after sunflower seeds. An ounce, about 23 almonds, provides roughly half the daily recommended vitamin E. But almonds are worth noting here for a second reason. They're one of the few foods that contain meaningful amounts of both vitamin E and magnesium together, and these two nutrients work in complementary ways in the body, particularly in supporting the function of the cardiovascular system. Evidence from long-term population studies consistently associates regular nut consumption, almonds among them, with markers of cardiovascular health. Almonds also provide plant protein, calcium, and riboflavin, B2, which is involved in energy metabolism at the cellular level. Think of riboflavin as the maintenance worker who keeps the energy generation machinery from rusting up. It's not glamorous work, but without it, the whole system runs rough. Soak them overnight. I know this sounds like extra work for a snack, but hear me out. Soaking raw almonds for 8 to 12 hours in cold water softens them and reduces phytic acid, which is a naturally occurring compound that can mildly interfere with mineral absorption. After soaking, drain, and rinse them. You can eat them as they are, soft, mild, creamy, in a way dry almonds aren't. Or you can dry them back out in the oven at low heat, 250 degrees Fahrenheit, about 120 Celsius, for about an hour. They'll crisp back up and the flavor is noticeably better. So, 15 foods. Not exotic, not expensive, not complicated. Liver, kale, sardines, sweet potatoes, eggs, bell peppers, sunflower seeds, salmon, spinach, broccoli, blueberries, pumpkin seeds, lentils, mango, and almonds. These are foods that people have been eating for centuries, and science is now catching up to explain why they work the way they do. It's humbling, actually, and I think it's one of the most beautiful things about this work, watching ancient wisdom and modern research arrive at the same table. I'm Clara. I spent 2 decades watching people get sick, and I've spent the years since learning what keeps people well. The answer isn't complicated, but it does require intention. Add one food from this list to your grocery run this week, just one. See how you feel after 30 days of including it regularly. And now I want to ask you something. Leave your answer in the comments because I genuinely read them, and they shape what I make next. Of all 15 foods on today's list, which single nutrient do you think is the most under-consumed in the over 65 population? And do you believe that deficiency is primarily a dietary choice, a cost barrier, or a lack of awareness? I'd love to know what you think and why. If any of this was useful to you today, the best thing you can do is share it with someone you care about. And if you aren't subscribed yet, there's a button nearby that makes that very simple. There are more of these coming. I've got a whole list sitting on my kitchen table right now that I can't wait to get through with you. Until next time, God bless you. Stay well, eat faithfully, and take good care of the body you've been given.